So I just got finished watching Smackdown, and like I said, once again, I'm really getting used to this new setup. I like this very much, actually. I can address everyone, and you can see a full body shot and not just my face. So I'm very happy with that. But, like I said, I just finished watching Smackdown literally a couple seconds ago. Seconds because it takes a couple seconds to walk from my TV room to the living room. And, like I said, I don't know how this is going to work once my mom is back in town. But I'm sure we could probably work something out because usually she's downstairs working anyway, or she's in the kitchen. So, I'll still be able to shoot these videos. And I'm going to try my best to shoot late if I possibly can, so I don't have to shoot early morning, because tomorrow we have a staff meeting, and Will's probably going to be here around 9:15, so needless to say, I kind of have to get this done tonight. Just like with Impact, though, I want to make sure Smackdown is fresh in my mind, so that's the reason I wanted to talk about it tonight. We're 8 till midnight, so technically this will be uploaded tomorrow morning. So, no worries. No worries at all. I'm just shooting this tonight because I want to make sure I get it filmed before tomorrow. And I don't want to do it tomorrow night because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow night. I don't have any plans tomorrow night, but I like getting the videos out so you guys have the full day to watch them if you want to. And tell your friends, obviously, to do the same. So, after an interesting Raw, which Doug from WNS Podcast really slammed the crowd on Monday night. And I understand he has his reasons. But, after an interesting Raw, we're back to normal again. Kinda. So, WrestleMania weekend is over. And everyone is pretty much flown back to their countries or cities from whence they came. And the tremendous crowds of Monday night are completely gone. It's going to see if we can stand the test of time for these new Attitude Era style crowds that are caring more about getting themselves over than the matches in the ring. Or even thinking about the matches in the ring, or commenting about the matches in the ring, or chanting about the matches in the ring. They just kind of want to get themselves over. I see the reasoning for that, and it's always fun to be in a live crowd. Honestly, if I meet a professional wrestler, given the fact that at one point in the, not late past, but in the past, obviously, everyone knows I was in the wrestling business. I was a manager. I was a ring announcer. I've been a commentator. I've done everything except for referee officially. Well, I guess you could say I refereed. I was a special guest referee, and I screwed someone and got the guy that I was putting over the victory. So that worked pretty well. I have wrestled before. I have wrestled in multi-man matches. My first match was a TLC match for XMCW. And I am 1-0 as a singles competitor, my one victory being via a knockout punch on Brian Cross. So, yeah, I kind of have a little bit of knowledge about wrestling. So, I understand how the crowd works sometimes. And I just want to talk about that real quick before we get started on SmackDown. Like I said, business as usual. We're back in Boston. We're in John Cena country, basically. And one thing I was really excited about right out of the way was the fact that I found out that John Cena had used Twitter to get a hold of Mark Wahlberg and Ben Affleck to join him on SmackDown. And given the fact that, of course, Marky Mark is promoting Pain and Gain right now, and which comes out in 2 weeks, which, like I said, that is the reason why I think that The Rock is going to be at the Raw in Columbus to promote Pain and Gain, if anything else, given the fact that the Extreme Rules match against Brock Lesnar is pretty much off. So, who knows, we'll probably still get Rock and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30 like everyone's predicting, so there's always that, but I think The Rock will be there to promote Pain and Gain. And Ben Affleck, of course, fresh off the I Told You So of the year, when I said Argo would win Best Picture, and he won every single Best Director nomination possible leading up to the Oscar, which, of course, he was unfairly snubbed for. And that was the award season, and it was quite interesting. If you want to hear about what I thought about the 2013 award season, you could go back and watch my award season playlist. Find out stuff about the Globes, about the Oscars, about the Spirit Awards, about the Critics' Choice Awards, and everything in between. So, an interesting time doing that. But we started the show with Lillian Garcia announcing Biggie Langston. Langston's got a microphone. This can't end well. So he steps to the curtain, and basically what he does is he introduces the new World Heavyweight Champion, Dolph Ziggler, in a very mocking manner, kind of like how he's ripping off Ricardo Rodriguez, given the fact that Ziggler took the championship from Alberto Del Rio on Monday's Raw. So he did a Dolph Ziggler. And of course, Dolph comes out with the gorgeous AJ Lee, and Dolph is clad in a suit and chucks, and he's ready to go. So we're going to get a promo to start off the show. I got no problem with that. So it's funny because Biggie Langston is kind of a mixed bag. I hate his finish. Everyone knows this. I don't think it looks believable. I don't like him overall. He's serviceable in the ring. That STO he hit on Daniel Bryan on Monday's Raw, excellent. And I think he'd be carried to a decent match. I don't know what character he's trying to convey, because one moment he's trying to be the big, scary Biggie Langston, and the other minute he's doing strange comedy promos, like ripping off Dave Chappelle in backstage promos in the past, and this time channeling Ricardo Rodriguez. But I guess I understand this in this perspective, because what he was doing, he was making fun of Ricardo Rodriguez, which makes complete sense given the fact that Del Rio was the former World Heavyweight Champion, but I've already mentioned that. So, Dolph says he's the most gifted athlete the business has ever seen, and that's quite an understatement. His World Heavyweight Championship proves that the future is now. So, basically, Dolph's voice is very raspy. It's kind of like he's about ready to go into an extreme case of laryngitis. Given the fact that Ziggler probably screamed quite a bit on Monday night for the live crowd, given the fact that they were totally into him and his cash-in of Money in the Bank, you would wonder why his voice was so raspy, but that's basically, they gave him a promo to go out. Even though his voice is not the greatest, he still delivered quite a promo. So, he says he didn't win the title because of the fans, he won it in spite of the fans. So basically what he's trying to do is make sure he elicits a heel reaction from the crowd, which is not as pro-Ziggler as Monday night, that's for sure. So, when this happens, we get Jack Swagger to come out with Zeb Coulter, and of course Zeb has a microphone in hand, and like he always does, he's going to do the first cutoff of multiple cutoffs for this opening promo. Now, Zeb thanks Dolph Ziggler for being a real American, given the fact that he was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, and now he is billed as from Hollywood, Florida. He makes a solid point about Dolph's cash-in being successful due to Ziggler being an American. So, Ziggler says Jack, well, he already blew his shot at WrestleMania, and as far as he's concerned, yeah, Swagger, you can go back to the back of the line. So Swagger steps up on the ring apron for a moment, deciding it's not a smart idea to go in the ring given the fact that he'd have to face off against Biggie Langston, and he retreats. So, Zeb says it's in Ziggler's best interest to tell Jack Swagger what he wants. So, to give him pretty much what he wants. So, Swagger and Coulter leave, so the first interruption, they go to the back. Ziggler talks about his Money in the Bank win a little bit more, and Alberto Del Rio limps out to the top of the ramp to interrupt yet again. Which doesn't have a very great reaction, you can tell. I mean, it sounds great, but if you didn't know it wasn't canned, you probably would understand that Ziggler, even though I love him as a babyface, I know a lot of people do, by and large, the fans are not as buying into him as much as they should be at this point. So there's probably a lot of canned reaction, a lot of canned pop. So that's pretty much what I can see out of that. Dolph says Alberto came out to steal a spotlight. And of course, Del Rio smartly favoring the injured leg and ankle that, of course, was the reason why he lost the World Heavyweight Championship on Monday night. ADR says he came out to say congratulations, not here to moan or complain or whine about anything. He understands how great it feels to cash in Money in the Bank. He says when he does get his rematch, Dolph will be crying like a little baby after losing. Dolph says it's his night, and right as that is said, here come real quick. Right as he says that, he makes a bullet point that pretty much leads to the next interruption by saying, in essence, that the next person that interrupts him is pretty much going to wish they never did. And he says, that's what I thought. Here comes Chris Jericho. So Jericho immediately tries to get the crowd completely on his side, which they're already on anyway, by calling AJ crazy right off the top. So the crowd starts chanting, AJ's crazy, over and over again, and she's about ready to lose her mind. So Dolph calms her down, and this leads to them setting up the match for the main event tonight. So after that, we see Dana Bryan and Kane, they're walking, trademark Scott Keith, and they are going to be in action next. So we come back from commercial break, and they are in action. And they're in action against one of my favorite underutilized tag teams, Darren Young and Titus O'Neil, the Primetime Players. So basically, Titus and Kane start off the match. Kane hits a top rope clothesline, which is kind of what he was going for, but he ended up basically just hitting the wrist. He doesn't really hit the forearm, he kind of hits the wrist. And that gives the team the early advantage. So basically, we end up having Dana Bryan lock on the no-lock and submission. So about a minute and 38 seconds, if that. That's being generous. Hell No retain the World Tag Team Championships. I don't even know if that was even mentioned as a tag team title match. Doesn't really matter at this point. This is all basically leading up to what happened afterwards, was the fact that we saw the Shield. And the Shield are basically making it known that no one is safe, and congratulations on your win, but now you have to face the reality that you're going to have to face the Shield down the road. So yes, the match I have predicted for a long time, the Shield against Hell No, is looking to happen a little bit sooner rather than later, i.e. Extreme Rules is actually when it's probably going to happen. Just as long as it's Rollins and Ambrose against Hell No. That's what I want to see. Roman Reigns can run interference outside. That works fine for me. So, I'm not going to recap WrestleMania because Will and I did a good job of doing that already, so there's no reason to talk about the video packages, but they're there. So, backstage, Sheamus and Orton are having a meeting in front of the set with Booker T and Teddy Long. Booker tells them that they'll be wrestling the Big Show tonight to right all the wrongs in a handicap match. So, both Orton and Sheamus can get their revenge over the Big Show for what happened on Monday night. So, basically, not exactly sure why that's happening, but maybe a three-way could have worked, but oh well. He's a GM, so he can't really question it. Come back to commercial break, and we get a 6-woman tag match with the Bella Twins and Tamina Snuka looking very much like Beth Phoenix tonight, taking on the Funk Adactyls. That's right, Michael Cole, you did it again tonight. You did not use the word N, the letter N in Funk Adactyls, and the Divas champion, Caitlyn. So Caitlyn hit a DDT on Brie out of nowhere for a 2 count. Naomi gets tagged in, and my God, okay, once this Funk Adactyls deal is over with, Naomi is a future Divas champion without question. She goes for a Hurricane Rana on one of the Bellas and doesn't really get all of it. She pretty much just Rana's the wrist of one of the Bella twins. And she ends up hitting a springboard into a flying body press. That looked phenomenal. And then the rear view, which is absolutely incredible. The Bellas end up reversing momentum and eventually get the victory. Tamina Snuka did not even get involved in the match. She pretty much warmed the apron the whole time, looking like Beth Phoenix. So less than 2 minutes. Don't know where that was going. Come back from commercial break, and just like promised, Triple H comes out and says the ass kicker is back. So shortly thereafter, 3-man band interrupts, and I'm really happy because obviously I'm a big fan of 3MB. So Heath Slater tells Triple H to shut up and listen. He says around here they need to jump a big dog just to get noticed. So they surround the ring, and here comes the Shield. So there's 6 men surrounding Triple H, and this doesn't bode well for the game. But out of nowhere, the Shield just jump 3MB and lay them to waste, taking their rightful spot back in the ring apron so they can jump Triple H. And just like what happened on Monday Night Raw with The Undertaker when they tried unsuccessfully to jump him, Hell No hit the ring for the save, and the Shield retreat to the back. So, we go right this directly into a backstage segment with Booker T and Teddy Long arguing, and then the Big Show just comes in and just interrupts right off the top, says, I don't know why you're putting me in a handicap match. There's no reason for me to face them. I have an ironclad contract, and I could just walk out right now and just leave your little match out in the dust. But basically it's said by Booker T that, no, it doesn't really matter what you do. You can leave right now. But if you do, I'll do everything in my power to make sure that your ironclad contract is null and void. I'll fight it in the courts, do whatever possible, and you'll live to regret that decision. But if you decide you do want to stay, your matchup is up next. Oh, the reason why they cut to this so quickly, they did a moment for the live crowd with Hell No and Triple H that I'm sure you can find on the spoilers for this that were taped on Tuesday night in Boston. Ended up being like a hug session, and Triple H didn't want to hug Daniel Bryan, and it was an interesting segment for the crowd. Got a nice laugh from everyone, but just for the live crowd, really wasn't for television. So, come back from commercial break, and it is time for our handicap match. So, it is a tag team handicap match, obviously. There's not all 3 men in at once. So it's not a 3-way dance. It is a literal handicap match. So Randy Orton and Sheamus will have to tag in and out. So Big Show comes out on top to start things by thrusting Orton into the corner, and he delivers those huge overhand chops. Big Show steps on Orton's stomach and works over the midsection just a little bit more. Gotta put over that boxing background. So Big Show goes for the elbow off the middle turnbuckle and finds nothing but canvas. Orton tags in Sheamus. He delivers a series of clotheslines, and he gets nailed with a harpoon from the Big Show. So Show picks him up, goes for the headbutts to maintain his control. Randy Orton is picked up. He nails the RKO out of absolutely nowhere. Despite not being the legal man, brogue kick from Sheamus. Big Show gets knocked to the outside with momentum, and Show's like, forget this, I'm done. And he just walks to the back and takes the count-out loss. So, let me see what we got here. Okay, so far we have a show that starts off with a promo. There goes about 10 minutes. That sets up the main event. We get a matchup with the World Tag Team Champions against the only solid team that can get any semblance of a victory on television in the Primetime Players, and they go a minute and a half. Even though, on top of that, oh, real quick, I hate to say this, but I even missed a match here because this night's going so quickly. We ended up getting Wade Barrett coming out against Santino Marella, and of course, this was another non-title match. So, this was after the commercial break, after Hell No and the Primetime Players. So, Santino took the shoulder block. Barrett goes for the elbows. Only gets a 2 count. Ends up hitting the Winds of Change. Still gets a 2 count. and he goes for the bullhammer, and it's reversed, hip toss, falling headbutt, 2 count. Santino readies for the Cobra. He gets the Cobra kicked, and then the bullhammer, and 1, 2, 3. It went 1:50, so less than 2 minutes. Okay, let's go back to where we were. Sorry about that. Like I said, this show is really, it's not even fast-paced. It's just, so far, it's not going too well. So we get the Divas 6-woman tag team match, which goes less than 2 minutes. Orton and Sheamus against the Big Show goes 4 minutes. So far we don't have any real clean wins. A lot of crap finishes and matches that don't even go 5 minutes. Yeah, this is not a good sign for this show. And we are 2 matches away from going home, folks. Alright, speaking of that, we come back from commercial break, and Renee Paquette from The Score in Canada. I won't call her Renee Young. I probably will eventually, but I'm still calling her Renee Paquette. You can blame that on Jimmy Corderas and Art Ocal for me remembering that. So, backstage, she tries to interview Randy Orton and Sheamus and says it took 2 men to take down the Giant. Sheamus says revenge was pretty sweet, and at this point, Mark Henry attacks Sheamus in the midst of the promo, ramming him into the table, and a bunch of referees run in to try to break it up. So, like I said, they're building up to Sheamus and Mark Henry, which is going to be the next program for the two. That's fine, I don't have a problem with that. Good power match between the two, and both men can go in the ring. So, I approve this. It's a good idea. So right after this, we get, already in the ring, mind you, the very underutilized United States champion who can't buy a win or even a non-jobber entrance on television, Antonio Cesaro taking on Kofi Kingston. So Cesaro goes for an arm wringer, and Kofi nips up, and Cesaro takes advantage of Kofi with a nice ambush of forearms. He continues with rain down the forearms as Kofi makes up to his feet. He goes for the back body drop. Kofi rolls him up, only gets a 2 count. Cesaro with the deadlift and the gut wrench suplex for the near fall. Launches him headfirst into the top turnbuckle and only gets a 2 count. So Cesaro knocks in a rear naked choke. Kofi makes it up to his feet. He goes for the double boot stomp yet again. This time Kingston fights it off with an elbow. Kingston hits a lot of high spots and dives at Cesaro. And Cesaro hits Swiss Death out of nowhere, still only getting a 2 count. So Kofi struggles to his feet, kick out of the corner. You know, basically he charges the corner and upside down hits the kick to the top of the head. Kofi climbs the top, Cesaro catches him, goes for snake eyes or an over-the-shoulder power slam, depending on how you want to look at it. Kofi slips out. His Trouble in Paradise is a little too close for comfort and gets the 3 count. So, non-title win, and we look like we're building to Kofi Kingston taking the United States Championship off Antonio Cesaro. You know, I sometimes like to believe what I hear on the internet, but there's some cases I really don't want to believe it. And in this case, I see matches like this, and I have to. The Office just doesn't like Cesaro. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I mean, he's amazing. He can work. He can talk. He's fluid in the ring. I mean, he's got everything. He's the total package, and he could be a future WrestleMania main eventer, and I say that he will be. Still, even though it might end up being a reteaming of a WWE version of the Kings of Wrestling with Cassius Ohno. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, I wanted to bring a segue in to mention this. I watched NXT this week. I think it's this week. I watched it. Ono posted it on Facebook, so you guys can go see it if you want to check out Cassius Ohno against William Regal. Oh my God. This match is one of the most brutal matches I've seen in a long time. They're literally trying to break each other's fingers. It was a brutal, violent contest. There was no weapons, none of that garbage. Seriously, they were just two heavy hitters that can take it, and it was awesome. And it was great because there was a lot of Yakuza kicks and forearms, and Ono basically tried to discombobulate Regal like a billion times. And then Regal out of nowhere hits a knee trembler and pins. Just incredible match. So, Ono against Regal on NXT. Check it out, guys. Do yourself a favor. It's one of the most brutal matches you'll see in this era of WWE. Even though it's NXT, I mean, it's developmental, but it's on television, so it's a brutal match. So check it out if you get a chance. So, like I was saying, push Cesaro. I wish you could. Maybe someday they will. Hopefully. If anything, Ono and Cesaro could reform the Kings of Wrestling, like I said, and they could go after the tag titles. So, we'll figure it out later in the future. Come back from commercial break. And we get our main event, Y2J, Chris Jericho, against the current World Heavyweight Champion, Dolph Ziggler. And right before this match starts, Fandango comes out with his concubine of the week through his seedy strip club entrance, dancing to the ring, and everybody in the crowd is fandangoing like it's going out of style. And you know what? It's not going out of style because it's already being used. And once you have a hashtag, you've made it. I mean, I guess there was like a Houston Texans cheerleading squad. They were fandangoing, and they're using Fandango's music on like MLB baseball tonight. I'm not a baseball guy, but obviously, but MLB Tonight or something, whatever it was called, that show, they were using that as like bumper music to come back from break. So Fandango's not going anywhere anytime soon. So and you guys are tired of hearing his theme song being sung by every single person in the crowds? Yeah, that's not ending anytime soon either. So we'll look forward to that continue some more on Raw Monday night. It did continue tonight. Not as loud, not as prevalent as it was on Raw Monday night, but still, it definitely was there. And there were people that were fandangoing in the crowd, so props. So we come back from commercial break like we do, and right before that happens, we see AJ with a distraction, pulls Jericho's foot, and this allows Dolph Ziggler to hit the name dropper, and we go to break. Once again, here's the thing. You're going to have him use the name dropper, or the rocker dropper, or the famouser, and even call it the famouser, while Billy Gunn is still working for the company and working, I can't say a regular schedule or even a sporadic schedule, still wrestling on your shows. You have Ziggler and Billy Gunn use the same move on your shows. I mean, you haven't had it lately, but it has happened. So make up your mind what you want to do with it. I don't mind him using the name dropper. The only time it really didn't work was at WrestleMania against Kane. So, yeah, that was a little bit of a snafu. But it's alright, no problem. He's World Heavyweight Champion now, so everyone can rejoice. Now, when we come back from commercial break, you would expect, if you're thinking about a normal Dolph Ziggler match, he has the side headlock headstand, which ends up coming just a few minutes after this. So, Fandango's watching at ringside, smirking every once in a while at the fact that everybody in the crowd is doing his dance and his theme song. So, during the commercial break, Fandango got an semblance of revenge while the referee was distracted by kicking Jericho right in the face while he was on the outside. So, of course, when we get back in the ring, we go to that headlock, the side headlock headstand combination, and then he bridges up with it. It looks awesome. Kind of like how Daniel Bryan used to use the cattle mutilation. That's pretty much the bridge we're using at this point. And Jericho fights up to his knees, still in the side headlock. Of course, AJ looking gorgeous as always at ringside. Jericho fights out, and Ziggler delivers a midsection knee, and Jericho gives a bunch of shoulder tackles, this time dodged by Ziggler. Jericho goes to the top, crowns him off the top of the double axe handle, and the crowd's going crazy. So Jericho goes for a cover, only gets a 2 count, climbs up the top, flying body press, 1, 2, and a kick out. So Fandango's looking on a little scared, and Jericho stomps away on the World Heavyweight Champion, and gets hit with a nice drop kick, nice crisp drop kick out of nowhere from the World Heavyweight Champion. So Ziggler has to know that he can't just put Jericho away with a simple drop kick. He's got to go deeper into his arsenal. And he ends up going for the zigzag, and he gets thrown off. Thrown off. Wow, that's not even a word. He gets thrown off and goes for a Hurricane Rana. He gets countered into the walls. Ziggler flips out of it. Jericho hits the lion salt because he's not too close to the ropes, like at WrestleMania, and goes for the Jericho drop kick to Fandango, knocking him to the arena floor. Big E Langston uses this as a distraction attempt and pops Jericho right in the top of the head. Ziggler rolls him up, hooks the tights, 1, 2, 3. So 7 minutes. After the matchup, everyone circles Jericho. Ziggler nails the zigzag. Big E lifts him up in the most useless finisher in the history of man. And Fandango gets in the ring and starts the beatdown after a little dancing. And the crowd fandangoing along. He goes up at the top, hits the guillotine leg drop, and grabs a mic, saying his name one more time. Fandango. And the crowd sings him out, literally, as his music plays to end the show. So not bad. The matches weren't long enough. Obviously, this really wasn't about the matches in the ring. It was about the build-up for Extreme Rules. And in that case, they worked pretty well. I like what they're doing with Fandango, and I think he is going to be headed for a program with Chris Jericho somewhere in the near future. Jericho, of course, has to tour with Fozzy for the next few weeks, so, of course, he'll come back to face Fandango at Extreme Rules. So, in that time, obviously, we're going to have Fandango out working different baby faces the next couple of weeks. So, that's going to be where they're going to go with that. The Shield go after The Undertaker on Raw, they go after Triple H on SmackDown, and both times they are thwarted by Hell No. So we have Hell No taking on The Shield, looks like, at Extreme Rules. And while Randy Orton and Sheamus were celebrating their victory in a handicap match against The Big Show, Mark Henry makes his presence known by jumping Sheamus. And you have to wonder, where was Randy Orton when this happened? Yeah, good question. We saw Ryback turn on John Cena on Raw to end the show, and I still don't like the guy, but we'll see what happens with this. We'll find out. I don't know if he's officially heel. This may not be a heel turn, but it may be because the live crowd on Monday night is getting John Cena and Alberto Del Rio against Dolph Ziggler and Ryback for their dark match main event. So that dark match main event of the Shield against Sheamus, Cena, and Ryback that is supposed to happen in Columbus, yeah, that's not going to happen now. So, I don't have a problem with that. And Ziggler still doesn't have anyone really that he is feuding with, so the World Heavyweight Championship yet to have a top contender yet, so we'll figure that out in the near future. Who knows what they're going to do with Randy Orton? Maybe Randy Orton and Dolph Ziggler will battle it out for the World Heavyweight Championship. We continue the war between the Funkadactyls and the Bella Twins, which really hasn't gone anywhere, but it's still building. Tamina does absolutely nothing in this match, and yet she probably still will be facing Caitlyn at Extreme Rules, or if not, Raw or SmackDown. Wade Barrett has the Intercontinental Championship back, and you wonder if he's going to be facing The Miz again in a rematch. I'm guessing that'll probably happen at Extreme Rules. But we didn't see The Miz on SmackDown, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. I want to see Barrett pushed a lot stronger. And we're looking at Kofi Kingston probably to take on Antonio Cesaro at Extreme Rules with the United States Championship, probably going back to Kofi Kingston. And the primetime players languish away, and guys, that's SmackDown. So, it was a decent show, and overall I didn't mind it. So, actually, on that note, I'm going to get off here, and thank you guys for watching. I will talk to the wrestling fans that watch these little videos on Tuesday night when we talk about Monday Night Raw. I may have Will with me again on Monday night. I don't know. I guess I'll find out when I find out. So, yeah, like I said, get used to Will because you're going to be seeing a whole lot more of him. And provided things fall into place and we do get to go to Raw in Columbus, right now there's kind of a problem going on, but hopefully that'll be rectified in the near future. And in the next 2 weeks, we'll know for sure we're going to Columbus. If we do get to go, there's going to be a lot of content because, of course, that is the birth of this channel. So the Nationwide Arena is definitely a special place, and we're definitely going to be shooting a lot more. Now, I probably won't try to shoot ringside like I did because I don't want to get in trouble. I definitely will shoot outside the building, and I might shoot inside the building, maybe away from everyone so no one knows what I'm doing. So that's something to look forward to in the near future. We watched 42 and Scary Movie today. 42 is good. There's been a lot better movies like that, but overall I enjoyed it. Harrison Ford is absolutely phenomenal in the movie, and kudos to him for that role. And Scary Movie 5 is absolutely terrible, so I completely stay away from it, but you probably already knew that. AJ's Movie Reviews is coming up this Sunday. Tomorrow, like I said, I got to work in a couple hours. We got a staff meeting, and then I work till 5, maybe longer, who knows. Don't have any plans for tomorrow. Sunday, like I said, AJ's Weekend Movie Reviews. Monday, we're going to talk Celebrity Apprentice, because of course it returns to 2 hours on Sunday night, and thankfully that is the case because we have a nice film challenge where it's going to be Mary Lou going over to the very quickly dissipating Power team, and she's going to be the project manager against Gary Busey. So it will be interesting to see exactly what happens with that. So I'm going to get off here. Once again, guys, if you like these videos, leave a comment. Subscribe to my channel. Go back and watch all of the playlists. And you can like me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter at Sir Owen Disney. You can tell all your friends to do just exactly that. View these videos, comment on these videos, subscribe to these videos, tell your friends to do the same. Like I said before, thank you again for letting me get to almost 4,000 hits in such a short period of time. So we're definitely going to exceed our goal, but hopefully we can go even further, kiddies, because I want to get a lot further than what I asked. I got 17 subscribers now. I want to thank all of you subscribers, the ones that I can thank, and the ones of you that are kind of hidden from my view for whatever reason. A couple of you, I totally understand why you're hidden, and a couple of you, I don't know who you are. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you all again for watching. We'll talk Smackdown, of course, this time next week, and we will talk Monday Night Raw on Tuesday morning. Maybe Monday night. I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet. Depends on how tired I am. So, I'm going to get off here. Thanks again for watching. And until tomorrow, that's all I got to say about that.